Folks, welcome into the Crowd Assist podcast presented by Trainwreck Sports. Wake here, fresh off a great round of golf at Delaware Park earlier, where we won't talk about the first 16 holes, but I got a par 5 and I parred a par 3 to end it. So it's not how you start, it's all about how you finish. Great stuff going on over here. Haven't golfed in 3 years, so I'm riding cloud 9 right now. Also riding it because I got my partner in crime, Jake Micah, here, and great friend of the show, mentor to all of us here at Trainwreck Sports in navigating the media sphere, Muki Hawkins, WUFO AM, got Power 96.5 FM. Muki, thanks for being here, and going to put you on the spot right away, okay? Because you've been at camp. We have not. We're trying to get that press access, but you know what? They're making us earn it. We got to earn it on our own right. So immediately, 4 days of camp, 4 days of action. What is your biggest takeaway so far through 4 days?
The biggest thing I take away is that Ken Dorsey's offense is going to be much better than Brian Dable's offense.
Interesting. Do tell why.
I just like how he's moving the guys around. He's playing chess out there right now. He's throwing a lot at the guys, a lot of different personnel groupings. A lot of different formations, different variations. That run game, y'all gonna be like, where in the hell this run game been? You know what I mean? So the run game is gonna be like you never seen out of the Dable regime. So I'm really excited to see what I'm seeing out of Ken Dorsey. But once again, they ain't got the pads on yet, so that's really the tale of the tape. But so far, so good. I'm very impressed with what I see out of Ken Dorsey so far.
Now, I love that, and I did want to talk about Ken Dorsey specifically because, and there's a few different avenues we can take with this. You talk about the run game, you talk about Dorsey. It seemed like the offense was a little slow to get gelling. At least that's what I've gotten from the Biscaglias and the Mukis and the Perinos of the world. And from my understanding, yesterday at Wednesday's practice, it was a complete flip of the script where Josh Allen was just putting the ball in places, as we say, that only Josh Allen can put them. If he wanted the ball to get somewhere, it was absolutely getting there. So what did you notice anything tangible that really signified this offense is clicking more so than it was in the first few days?
Yeah, I think, they kind of got, down to the bottom of what they want to run, and just really broke that down to a science inside that red zone. And we all know last year that's something that the Bills struggled with inside the red zone, right? So, Josh was on fire. I mean, he knew where he wanted to go with the ball. I mean, you should have he's maturing to the point where he know how to move defenders with his eyes. And, and one guy that does that the best is Tom Brady. You know what I mean?
Yep. I was going to say Tom Brady and Pat Mahomes both do that better, so well. Yeah.
Yeah, he knows how to move guys with their eyes now. He was doing that inside the red to the point where he had candy for everybody yesterday. I mean, Diggs was scoring at will. I mean, Dawson Knox was scoring at will. You pay attention to those two, here it is, Gabe Davis. You pay attention to all those three, here's James Cook. So, they look damn good yesterday. I say right now for 4 days, the first 4 days, I say it's 2 and 2. 2 for the defense, 2 for the offense. But, you would love to see. Yeah. I mean, that's what you want your offense to do, to bounce back from, that Tuesday that they had. They was a little off sync. I don't know if they was fed turkey burgers or not. But, they
cut them off for a day.
I swear, turkey burgers were a really well-kept secret until this. Like, my mom's always made a damn good turkey burger. She really, really had. Siri heard me say turkey burger, and she just put in an order for Wegmans almost. Sorry about that, guys. But, I think, I love hearing that the offense and the defense are both being combative with each other through the first 2 days. If it was too one-sided, that would show me that maybe one side of the ball, I'm not going to get too worried early in camp. It's 4 days in, a lot of time for things to change. But, hearing that it's been a back and forth battle, that one speaks to the coaching staff and two speaks to the players that are on the team right now. And like I said, I'm not going to worry if one side of the football isn't doing too well. However, one aspect of this team that I am a little worried about, and you mentioned the running game, how that could be better under Ken Dorsey, but the offensive line. Spencer Brown coming back from an injury, hasn't had a lot of reps there so far, whether that's them sending him a message, hey, you need to earn this, or hey, we're taking you slow back to get back from your injury. Questenberry's been in there. Greg Mance has been in there. If there's one part of this team I might be worried about, even with Trey White's possible extended absence, it might be the offensive line. Do you have anything you can maybe quell those nerves of mine with, or is maybe that an actual point of concern for this Bills football team?
They just got to keep repping stuff out, developing the chemistry, understanding the continuity, because when you look at it, you got new pieces up front. I mean, Roger Saffold, he's out for, the car accident that he had. And man, that's really like the only missing piece. Spencer Brown, he's back. They're bringing him along slow, but, he's able to get some reps in there on yesterday. Just to go back to Tuesday. Now, the defense won without Von Miller. Now, Von Miller chilled for rest, and they still was able to go out and did what they did without Von Miller. You know what I mean? But on the flip side, as far as that offensive line, I really want to see what that's going to look like, especially when the Pats come on with Roger Saffold, Deion Dawkins, or whatever damn tight end is next to that. It don't matter. You know what I mean? But, the line is huge. Deion Dawkins is probably the littlest guy on the offensive line right now.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
So you got guys like Tommy Doyle. He's been getting some guard reps, and he's 6'8". He's Ryan Bates. He's 6'5". So Deion and Ryan Bates are the littlest guys on the team, but they're still big guys. You know what I mean? Questenberry, he's huge. Spencer, he's huge.
They got athletes out there, is what they got.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we got some trees, man. And Mitch Morris, he's 6'6" himself. So, Wade, I'm telling you now, you just want to see impacts. Come Saturday when they get the pads on, then that's going to answer a lot of my questions. But right now they look good. Iron sharpening iron right now. The guys, I say it's even 2-2 the first 4 days.
Yeah, it's a new world Saturday for sure. Like there's two common football tropes I think that started with this week is that we gotta wait to see the pads, and the defense is always a little bit ahead of the offense in starting training camps in any level. High school, college, NFL, always seems to be that way. But one of the things, and Wake, it was a nice point you jumped in with the offensive line there, because I do think. And this is something I wanted to touch on. The biggest thing I wanted to touch on with you, Muki, is that offensive line is probably struggling because from all accounts, this defensive line has been game wreckers in every scenario. And obviously Von Miller has looked the part, played the part. We've seen some good days from the young guys as well. But the guy I want to hear about is Ed Oliver, because I feel like Ed Oliver has been the piece that we've just all been waiting for, that extra step, that extra breakout with the impact plays, the sacks, whatever else. Can he be the D tackle that's like where Aaron Donald's here? And obviously there's a level, but Ed Oliver is up in that upper tier. So what does he look like in the first couple of days of camp? And knowing that Saturday is going to be a lot different when Mitch Morse can actually put some hands on him.
Ed is ready. He's ready. I don't know if it's just the process of him, the maturation of it, or it's to know that you got guys like Jordan Phillips back, alongside with you, and to go along with Daquan Jones and Tim Settle out there. So, we have revamped this offensive line, and Ed is out there making plays. He made Tommy Doyle look silly out there, like he wasn't even in front of me. You know what I mean?
Heard
so
that one,
Ed's gonna be making a lot of. It's gonna be interesting to see if the quarterback is gonna have the balls to step up in the pocket. Yeah, he's gonna run into Jordan Phillips or Ed Oliver. Which one of them get to his ass first? You know what I mean? But you got Vaughn and Russo. They're gonna, make sure that quarterback step up in the pocket, because if you go right or left, you're gonna run into one of those guys. So, last time Jordan Phillips was in the Bills uniform, he led the team in sacks with damn near 10 of them. Yeah,
he did.
So, he's going to push the pocket. You know what I mean? So, it's going to be tough for a quarterback to do anything, when this pass get to pop in and we really figure out the rotations. I say the Bills keep a good 9, if not 10 players, on the defensive line right now. It's going to be hard.
Yeah. No, we had Robin on last week, and she and I had a really, really great conversation about the defensive line because she said that it is by far, as great as the offense is, as exciting as that can be, especially adding that James Cook dimension, which we will get into. Like the idea of having a defensive line that, let's say, God forbid, Josh Allen throws an interception and the other team gets the ball on the 40, you're like, well, we get to watch Greg Rousseau and Von Miller and Tim Settle and Jordan Phillips and all these guys go to work. Like, love Star Latulele, will always respect what he did for this team. I think he was a very underrated member of this defense. That being said, bringing in Tim Settle and Daquan Jones and bringing Jordan Phillips back, there's so much more talent behind Ed Oliver than there once was. And he is the kind of guy, like McDermott loves these kinds of guys who are internally motivated. And they see that and they're like, I'm not losing snaps to this guy over here. And I think that that's going to bring out the best in Ed Oliver this year.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. He knows that the scope is on him. I mean, because, it's contract time for him. They exercised his option already. They didn't pick that up. So, he got this year and then he has next year to showcase himself, So this is it, I mean, the Bills going to be in the bind, pretty soon about that bag and who to get that bag to. So, Ed Oliver, you got this year, you got next year to showcase. And, those are the years that you want Ed to really blossom and, have a breakout season, if you will. These next 2 seasons is very vital for Ed. Ed knows that. So his contribution is definitely going to be, hefty in reference to, the success that the defensive line has.
For sure. And sticking with the defense, I think that something that has been a little shocking to me, being such a big storyline lately, has been the depth in the secondary. Talking DeMar Hamlin, Cam Lewis, Saron Neal making plays, forcing Stefon Diggs to come down with a ball out of bounds. Like I heard that was a big play that happened yesterday. Like, we know what the secondary, when fully healthy, can be. But with Trey White out, I think it feels like a lot of these younger, unproven, primarily special teams guys, I think they're starting to realize, hey, this is my time to shine and earn more time with this team, maybe earn another paycheck and free agency when I'm coming up in this season or maybe next season. Is there anyone in particular, maybe someone I've named, someone I haven't, that has jumped off the page for you in the first few days here?
Not Cam Lewis has been pretty solid.
Love to hear that.
Cam Lewis has been pretty solid. He's been out there making plays. On some, he done lost a few battles, but he has won way more than what he's lost. And a guy that's coming in undrafted, being on the practice squad, getting some opportunities out there the past couple of seasons. I think that he's pretty much grasped the scheme and understands, what to do within that scheme as far as his abilities. Whether he's playing inside or whether he's playing outside, I think he's real comfortable. I think this is his 3rd year, 4th year, whatever. He's looking that he's really comfortable in Coach Frazier's defense, and he's flying around and making some plays.
Love to hear that.
What about the eyes have all been on Kaiir Elam, obviously, too, as the guy matching up with Diggs in one-on-ones and everything. And as of right now, if there's no Trey White, someone put it, I don't remember who tweeted it the other day, but they really put it in perspective for me with it, that, Kaiir Elam could be matched up with against the defending Super Bowl champs, against the receiver who might have had the best season in football history last year, arguably, as a wide receiver. No pressure in your first ever game, but from what I've heard, he's held his own. What I've heard from everybody, held his own, look good. What has your been impressions of the first round pick so far?
Well, I just like the competitor. I want that in the rookie. To me, he's better than Levi Wallace right now. But I guess it still remains to be seen because haven't played any games, right? But when you look at his abilities, his measurables, I think that he's going to do quite well. Here it is, a versatile guy who really is a man press corner, played a little bit of off man. He's learning that now in this system. And once he grasps that, then, it's kind of like the same way how Tre'Davious came in, he's going to have some, he's going to have that rookie curve or whatever the case, learn from that. And I think come mid-season, he really going to hit his stride.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, get a little bit more comfortable, get a little bit more just settled in, you know what I mean, if you will. But I mean, I love that the Bills drafted him, you know.
Me too.
With the first pick, you know, 6'2" out there. We need you know, a tall, physical corner that's going to be able to compete inside the red zone when, you know, matched up against a taller receiver. We only know they're going to do is isolate, go one-on-one with the 50-50. Now we got a long, rangy guy that could, you know, that has a catch radius as well. And, you know,
and great ball skills to beat, too.
Great ball skills. I mean, it's in his blood. You know what I mean? The pedigree is there. His uncle played in the league. His dad played in the league. So he has that NFL pedigree. And, you know, he definitely talked trash with the best of them. Him and Stefon Diggs was out there barking.
Yeah, he did.
You know, so iron sharpen iron, but we all know that Steph Diggs is going to win majority of those battles.
Yeah, and it's nice to see, like, I think that Leslie Frazier's defense is, like, evolving year by year. And I think what we're going to see this year, and it's a combination of what I've heard from practice, and it's a combination of what I've heard, or just what I've read into with the Kaiir Elam draft pick. He's a very physical corner. Like, love Levi Wallace. I think he got a lot of hate here just because, like, he was a good corner. He was a solid cornerback. But when you're in the same secondary as Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, Tre'Davious White, Taron Johnson, it's very easy to be the worst out of those five, you know, and be the brunt of some terrible matchups. But Kaiir Elam, like we said, a lot more physical, a lot better. He's gonna jam guys at the line. He's gonna be really, really physical in man coverage. He might be a better tackler. And when you look at what really got the Bills last year, sometimes maybe the corners weren't being physical enough per se because they were worried about getting penalties called on them. But in the games that we lost, talk about the Tampa game, talk about the Indianapolis game when Xavier Rhodes was being he was grabbing out there. He was being really, really physical. They were on the ends of some losses where corners and secondary members were getting away with things. And I think they're seeing refs are going to start letting these corners get away with some shit, you know? And they're drafting guys and coaching up the secondary to say, hey, wait until you get the call. Play physical until you get the call. Figure out how tightly they're going to play it because we know we can play with the best of them if we're not committing penalties out there. And I think that's really good self-aware coaching by Leslie Frazier. Is that what you've seen? Just more physical defensive play? Could that be why the offense has struggled so far in camp?
Kind of, you know, because they was crying on Tuesday about, oh, that's a hole, that's PI, or, you know, they was doing all of that stuff. You know what I mean? They definitely was doing all that on Tuesday. Wednesday, though, they didn't care if they was doing it or not. You know what I mean? They was locked in. They was locked in. They came to practice like they had something to prove. But when you look at it, to me, Levi Wallace, undrafted. Why was he undrafted? Why he didn't get drafted? You got 260 players got picked ahead of you. Why this guy didn't go drafted? You know, one, he wasn't physical enough. I mean, I'm quite a lot. He played at Alabama. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, well, damn. You know what I mean? You got to have some dog in you, right?
You got to have some dog in you. That's right.
No dog. Levi Wallace is just too nice. To me, he just too nice. You know what I mean? Playing corner, you got to have a nastiness about you. You got to have a mean streak about you playing corner. He just don't have that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, everybody would still get mad at me because I asked him that question on Wednesday, right before the divisional playoff game. I clearly told the man, I was like, look, quarterbacks pick and choose where they go with the football. Do you have a problem or do you feel disrespected that teams throw at you in clutch moments?
I think that's a fair question.
He was like, oh, I didn't know they did that. Oh, really? You didn't know they did that?
Yeah, come on.
What did Mac Jones do to you? Mac Jones threw at you 4 times and completed 3 of them.
Yeah, he threw 3 passes in the one game, and 2 of them went towards Levi Wallace. Like,
no, 4. He against in that wild card game or whatever. It was.
Oh no, I'm talking about the first game where with the weird wind where Mac Jones only threw 3 passes the entire game. But you're right about the wild card game too.
The wild card game, Mac Jones threw at home 4 times, completed 3 of them, and the only incompletion was the miraculous Micah Hyde interception.
Yep.
And he was cooked food on that double move.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, you don't think Patrick Mahomes saw that tape? So I'm just trying to prep him to know that they're going to get after you. And what do? They target him 10 times, completed 6 of them for 137 yards, a touch, and one of those scores led to the game-winning score. You know what I mean? Like, so it was just bad, especially on that one touchdown when Tyreek Hill threw up the peace sign.
Yeah.
I mean, he outside released Levi and beat him back to the inside. That is cardinal rule as a cornerback. How that can never happen. If a guy outside releases and still managed to beat you back inside and just
you gotta
boost
at
the
least
whole
get him
team,
out of. Yep.
Ain't doing that against Kaiir. Kaiir runs a 4.3. Levi ran 4.6, 4.7. That's the difference. You know what I mean? On top of that, too. Lacks speed, lacks the ball skills, lacks the toughness. You know what I mean? So, I mean, they did a great job for the past, 3 years of having him out there.
Exactly.
I'm glad he's in Pittsburgh, and I think he's going to do well in Pittsburgh. He just wasn't really a scheme fit. He's just too nice, you know, playing corner. You can't be nice. And Kaiir Elam, he's not a nice guy out there.
That's one of the reasons I'm excited about this secondary, regardless, too, because whenever Troy White comes back, whenever that is, if it's early in the season, if it's middle of the season, anything, we know that Leslie Frazier and Sean McDermott can scheme up a damn good pass defense. They've done it with lesser talent throughout the years. They've done it, and these guys, the reason Hyde and Poyer are so good together is because they put in this scheme and doing it. But they've been damn good since they've been here together too. And those guys are going to erase a lot of problems for the cornerbacks in the first couple of weeks. But it also all goes back to the way that they really want to build it out is win in the trenches. And if the quarterback's got 1.8 seconds to throw or something, like he's got to dump it off every time, it's going to be so much easier for those corners this year if that defensive line is really improved, like you were saying they are, and everything else. Like compared to last year, especially, like it's going to be worlds difference for those guys out there, like Dane Jackson. He's going to be like, man, I don't got to be out here running around at all. Like that's what I'm expecting, honestly.
Yeah.
Right. And the crazy part about it, I mean, damn, the way the Bills was playing defense, you know, you would think that Tre'Davious White was still out there the way Dane Jackson came and just stepped right in. You know what I mean? Like he was he started the entire season. Teams wasn't even throwing that Dane Jackson. They were still throwing that Levi Wallace.
When they threw at Dane Jackson, like the thing is, he was covering Rob Gronkowski like he was Cameron Brate. He is in that Tampa game, like that by far is the most memorable game of last year for me for so many reasons. One, it was the first time where we really saw Josh Allen down multiple scores going into a second half where he willed his team. He said, hey, I am not letting us fucking lose this game right now. Like Josh Allen literally came out and he said, we are going to win this game if I have any say in the matter. And then what happens? Overtime. You know what? It's a toss-up. It's a one-score game, whatever. But my second biggest takeaway from that was that Dane Jackson can hang with the best of them in the NFL. Like he brought, as we said about Levi Wallace, he didn't have that dog. He didn't have that physicality. Dane brings that no matter whether he's on Rob Gronkowski or Scotty freaking Miller. Like it's the same level of intensity. And I have been all last offseason, I kept saying, I'm not worried about CB2 because if Levi Wallace loses the job, I love Dane Jackson. I think he can handle it. And last year, I think he over and over and over again proved that. Having him as our CB3 maybe behind Kaiir Elam, like that's just another example of the depth on this team right now. I cannot remember, and maybe I'm biased right now, but Muki, in the last few years of the NFL, can you think of a defense that had this level of depth at more or less every single position?
Yeah, I can't look at that. Even when the Super Bowl teams, back then wasn't this deep. And I was just saying something. I was like, the Bills right now are like 40 strong.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, they are like
so
40 strong right now. Yeah. They are deep in all areas. You know what I mean? So it's very exciting to see. I mean, a player that's going to get cut could go and start somewhere else.
Literally,
honestly,
that's how deep this team is. So I mean, it gives you that excitement of like, damn, like they was the number 1 defense last year, the number 3 offense last year, and they upgraded in just about every position on the roster. So I mean, it can't be no other thing but Super Bowl or bust. If you upgrade this roster the way they upgraded this roster, and they were already on the cusp of being, an elite team or a contender, if you will. It is Super Bowl or bust. I mean, you look at it. This is completely just breaking down. We replaced Cole Beasley, obviously, with Jamison Crowder, Isaiah McKenzie. We replaced Emmanuel Sanders with Gabe Davis. Those are upgrades on our offense.
We replaced Jerry Hughes with Von Miller.
Right. We replaced Mario Addison with Greg Rousseau. We replaced Harrison Phillips and Starla Tulele. Well, I'm gonna say Starla toilet paper. Starla toilet paper. And
I'm happy I wasn't drinking when you said that.
With Jordan Phillips, Daquan Jones, and Tim Settle. We replaced Levi Wallace with Kaiir Elam. We replaced F.A. Obata with Shaq Lawson.
You're right.
Everything has been upgraded on this roster. Now once we just figure out what we're going to do on this special teams thing, who's going to be returning punts and kicks? Obviously, to me, a long shot could be Tavon Austin. That's why I say the Bills may keep 7 on this roster, for that reason alone. And, you have yourself a Super Bowl contending team, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, you do. It's crazy. I thought going into last year, anytime I talked about the Bills or even just the league in general, I was like, the Bills are the most balanced. They're the deepest at like every spot, most consistent throughout it. And that was like you said, that's last year. So how could it not be the same thing again this year? And it's just crazy to see how much they were able to do it with such little resources in the offseason. I mean, it was a job well done all around.
And sometimes when Greg Thompson comes on or even, Bruce Nolan or, a lot of the conversation with them is always around like asset management. That's what the NFL is. It's the same as if you run a fantasy football team. You can have a bad roster at the beginning of the season, but it's all about how you handle your assets. And they did not say what you want. They didn't have a ton to work with this offseason. Sure, they had a few extra draft picks, not a lot of cap space. If you look at how they maneuvered that, like, it's incredible that the conversation seems to always come back to Brandon Beane. Like, the fact that man has not won an actual, like, he's got, the NFL Writers, Association, they've given him GM of the Year, Executive of the Year a few times. But the NFL themselves, those awards, he hasn't even sniffed it. And that is just astounding to me because he came in. Of course, Sean McDermott had a big hand in it the first season without him. But they tore this car down to the absolute frame of it. They took the tires off. They took the engine out of it. They even took out the freaking interior. They had to put new seating in. They took out that nice leather and put in some nice, there's got lumbar support in there right now.
It's true.
Yeah,
it's true. Muki, my one last question for you before we let you go is this is I'm assuming Stefon Diggs and Gabe Davis are hitting 1,000 yards pretty easily with the amount of targets, assuming they're healthy all season. So what is more likely to you then? Is it a third 1,000-yard receiver, and that could be anybody, or is it a 1,000-yard rusher for this team?
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a 1,000-yard rusher. Hey, we can go overtime, guy. I got time.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I got one more question for you after this. So I'm going to milk you up for all you're worth. All right.
Yeah, definitely. No problem.
Mm-hmm. Keep going with this, though.
Well, I'm going to say Devin Singletary goes over 1,000 yards. I want to say definitely Gabe Davis is going to have 1,000-yard receiving season. I would say he may have 100 catches, but I'm going to chill on that one right now. We know Stefon Diggs is going to have 100 and 1,000, but it's going to be 1,000-yard receiver. Gabe Davis is going to have 1,000 yards. He might not have 100 yards catching, but I think he's going to have 1,000-yard receiving. I mean, he's going to have 1,000-yard receiving. He's not going to have 100 catches, but I say easy. He'll have 1,000 yards receiving. Steph Diggs will have 1,000 yards receiving, and Singletary is going to have 1,000 yards rushing. Josh is going to throw for over 5,000 yards.
Man, 5,000.
That banner doesn't have enough room for all those predictions, so we'll make the interns cut that all out later. But we bring up the rushing, and this is a fantastic time to get into what I said we would earlier, and now we'll bring it back to the end of the conversation. Beautiful segue. Love when it comes full circle. James Cook. the one quote from Josh, he's had a lot of good nuggets in his interviews this year so far. And the one that I think is most promising for all the guys in the Facebook groups who say Josh Allen shouldn't run so much and all that shit, which I don't agree with. He's damn good at it. Let's just let him do what he's good at. But Josh did say that this year he's trying to be more cognizant of when to go down, when to go out of bounds, when to actually take a hit. And I think James Cook, if Josh Allen is the kind of guy who's now going to be a little more conscientious of how many hits he's taking, James Cook, insert him, is the perfect guy to help alleviate that off of Josh Allen. And there's been a lot of talk of that Texas route, that right angle that comes out of the backfield. I call it the Madden route, the third down Madden route, because anytime I had a third down and long in Madden, I would just do that route and I would get the first down. It's a cheat code. There you go, everybody. Heard it here first. And Diggs is drawing comparisons to Dalvin, and who on this team knows Dalvin Cook better than Stefon Diggs? Like, is James Cook so far everything is advertised? Is this the kind of thing where we got to see him in pads before we jump to conclusions, before we name him the next Alvin Kamara? Like, where are you standing on this guy who realistically has offensive rookie of the year potential, it seems?
Oh, man. I'm buying that.
Yeah,
I'm buying that. Yeah, better snatch him on fantasy too, because he's gonna have anywhere. He's gonna probably have he might have 800 yards total from scrimmage himself between rushing and passing. Maybe more.
Maybe
more.
I
mean, he is in this offense. He's more in this offense than he was in the offense at Georgia.
That's true, and that's the great part about him, because when I look at, I'm a huge fantasy football guy, and when I'm looking at rookies to target, you got to look at people who are walking into opportunity but have little amount of tread on the tires. And James Cook, that he's got both of those going for him right now. It's hard for me to find a downside to this guy right now. And even his mindset, the way he approaches the game. You and I were talking on the phone a little bit earlier before we got on the show, and I told you he reminds me a lot of Kawhi Leonard, because he has that same stoic presence to him. Of course, he has a little more emotion than the laugh we get out of Kawhi, but it's the same methodical approach to the game, where everything he does just seems so thoughtful, Yeah.
I mean, the crazy thing about that, me and James, we met at the combine, and he was saying, he's from Miami, so he could be a Miami Dolphins fan. You know what I mean? So somebody asked him about that, and then I said, okay, well, we play Miami twice a year. So how would you feel if you was, being in Buffalo, playing against Miami? And he started laughing and, saying, whoever want to cut me that check, he's on deck for it. So guess what? You're on deck right here in Buffalo, buddy. You know what I mean? So, it's kind of ironic that, I say that to him in Indy, and then, he's here in Buffalo. So that's why I interviewed him yesterday, just to get it out of the way, because everybody want to talk about, oh, he's mad that he got drafted. First of all, ain't nobody mad that they got drafted to a Super Bowl contending team. You think
especially when you're going on an offense with Josh Allen? You think anybody's going to be upset about that?
Nobody's going to be upset about that, right? So, I mean, come on. Everybody, Bills Mafia, stop it. The guy loves to be here. He's just mild mannered. He's a laid-back guy. He's not a rah-rah guy. He means business, and you're going to see that out there on the football field. I tell you what, you probably can't look in that helmet, but I bet you he's smiling inside that helmet the way he's in that offense. So you ain't got to worry about, is he mad or not? No, he ain't mad at all. He's happy to be here. So, I just had to get that out of the way. That's why I grabbed him first on the interview, shot my ones with him. And, he's going to be very dynamic in his offense. And, for me to say Devin Singletary is going to have 1,000 yards on top of what James Cook is going to do, this offense is super duper high powered. I mean, when you look at Devin Singletary, last year he put that weight on, he was, in the weight room, chiseled up, cut up like dope, you know what I mean? But now it seems like he knows how to carry the weight now. This season he knows how to carry the weight. You see he looks a little bit more explosive. He got a gear to him now. And then once again, it's year 4 for him. So things naturally kicks in that 3rd, 4th year. When you look at how the Bills develop their players, that 3rd, 4th year is when they really arise. Dawson Knox, year 4. Matt Milano, year 3. Dawson Knox, year 3. Josh Allen, year 3. Tre'Davious White, year 3. I mean, that list could go on and on and on,
Yeah.
how, they develop their guys. And, now you just put the pieces in play. It's not going to take 3 years for James Cook to have a breakout. He's going to have that this year.
No, could not agree with you more. We are going to let you get out of here, Muki. Really appreciate you being on here. I know I'm going to be joining you on everything you got going on soon. So why don't you tell all of our listeners, where can they find your work? I know you got, the fan base network going on. Just give them the whole Muki Hawkins spiel right now, because you're getting everything done right now.
It's like I'm all over like dog shit this year, right? You know what I mean? So, man, you can, obviously check me on Twitter, WUFO Sports. That's on Facebook. That's on Instagram. You can hit me up there. You can also catch me on the Fan Base Network. You know what I mean? Shout out to Dale. Shout out to Robin. Shout out to my Fan Base family.
Love all them.
And you can also check me on Believe in Bills podcast. That's on Sirius XM. Also spinning on Power 96.5 radio.
Hell yeah, Muki.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it. I know we'll have you back on, if not before the season starts, definitely a few times in the season. You always bring a good perspective. I know I had Robin on last week for the exact same reason. We love to get the media members who just bring that little extra nuance to it, and you're certainly one of them. So thank you for being here, and we'll talk soon, all right?
Appreciate you.
Baby.
All right. Man, always a pleasure having Muki on. I know he and I last off season, he and I talked a ton, and it's just he's one of the good ones within the Bills media sphere. So always a pleasure to do that. But now we're gonna do something a little bit different. Okay, we got this next segment, this entire episode brought to you by Outlet Liquor, the place to buy a case. What's your outlet? Whether you're going on the golf course like I did today, whether you need some wine, spirits, seltzers, like I keep saying, last Memorial Day, I had like 20 people over to my parents' house. Like I was throwing a party when they're out of town, as I usually did in high school. And I got like 20 young 20-somethings drunk just off going to Outlet Liquor and spending like $60. Like that is the fact of the matter of what you can do over there.
What a
at
dream.
Georgia Boulevard. It's literally the dream. There are only so many dreams in this world. You can only have one the dream, according to Barney from How I Met Your Mother. And Outlet Liquor, those prices are the dream.
Yeah,
What's
Barney's
your
full of
outlet?
shit. So.
Barney is a little full of shit, but he is one of the best.
Well, do you
How I Met Your
subscribe to
Mother?
this theory? Oh, I've seen everything.
Up?
Do you subscribe to the theory that Ted is actually Barney and Barney's actually Ted?
No, I haven't heard this. Okay, no. Okay,
That's
before we get into our
brother.
NFL player food comps, we'll get into this. So what are we talking about?
Because Ted is the narrator of this story, clearly, and he is not a reliable narrator in any sense.
No, absolutely. If we're going to English class terms, he is not a reliable narrator.
The theory is basically that's basically the entire premise of the show, is that he is actually Barney in all these scenarios, and Ted and Barney is actually Ted, and he's just telling these stories that Barney's doing all these messed up things. Like Barney doesn't even exist in this scenario. Like Barney is
so
just
almost like
Barney's like an alter ego. Yes, like Barney is Ted's women alter ego, which would then mean that Ted was actually with Robin for an extended amount of time, and then not with Robin again. And then
so
that's the big ending.
The good things that Ted did to Robin were Ted, but the bad things that Ted did to Robin were Barney. Wow. I don't know if I can do this last segment. I'm going to power through it, though. My life.
I don't know if there's anything to this at all, but I've seen it in Reddit and different and things. Ted's a bad guy. Like Ted's I feel like he would lie about it. I feel like he would lie about things. And that's be like, oh yeah, Barney had a kid. He was whatever. He just chilled.
Wow.
Or Ted was just cheating on Robin for 5 or 10 years straight.
So
it makes a lot of sense.
Also, fuck a strip. Did he date a stripper too? Oh my god. Okay, maybe.
I want to go back through and see. I don't know the timing exactly, but if they're actually dating someone at the same time, because Barney's not really ever dating anybody.
No,
too many times. It's the one girl, I can't remember her name, and Robin basically.
Well, who's Robin with when Barney's with Quinn?
That's what I'm wondering.
So in one of our first apartments, me and my girlfriend Lauren did a How I Met Your Mother bracket. We literally I got like 60 pieces of printer paper and had like an individual bracket on each paper, and it was all How I Met Your Mother episodes. And
That's
for about
incredible.
2.5 weeks, we literally screamed at each other like, "No, best burger in New York is way better." Like it got really, really heated, and I know we still have it somewhere. So I'm gonna try to find those.
Best
And
burger in New York, I hope, was a Final Four candidate.
oh, it was in the Sweet 16 for damn sure, and in
Okay.
an
That's
illustrious
fair.
series like How I Met Your Mother, yeah, no, but when Barney calls Regis, and he is like, "Okay, do you want onions?" I said series, and then Siri picked it up. So, I love when Barney's going like, "Regis, do you want onions?" And he's like, "Onions? All right, Regis, no onions." But this is a great segue. Best burger in New York. We are gonna do some NFL players.
That's right.
Food comps. I did not even mean for that. It's amazing how this stuff happens sometimes. So
Sometimes it just plays out like that.
it really do be like that. And so Micah and I both have 5 different players that we found food comps for. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I found one for Tom Brady, so we're gonna save him for the last. Okay.
I got one for Tom Brady too. So
exactly. Yeah. You sent me your
Okay.
list. I sent you
okay.
mine, and I just figured I
That's
needed
right.
a 5th. So
Okay.
I'll start with I think some of mine are kind of funny. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I think I did a good job over here. So toot fucking toot. So I'll start with the one that I put the least amount of effort in, and it's going to be for Leonard Fournette. And I'm going to stall a little bit while I create a banner here. And I'm just going to say that Leonard Fournette is
I
a
can't
running
imagine it's a
back
good thing.
for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I am also going to go as far as to say that in my mind, he is a pork chop because
Okay.
there's
Not what
a
I was expecting,
lot
but-
more fat there than you might realize. And while it's satisfying, at a certain point, you're just not going to feel good about it, you know?
I would say Zion Williamson fits into this. Your Zion Williamson.
My
That's my pork
Zion.
chop.
Hold on.
Your Zion Williamson.
I'm yelling like I'm running away from my
I thought you were gonna go marshmallow here. I honestly thought you were gonna be even more on the
Marshmallow?
nose with the big boy joke. Yeah.
Wow, that actually would have been a damn good one.
Yeah, that would have been way. Pork chop at least is
I was trying
implying
to
that
find a-
he's got some beef on him. I'm implying that he's as soft as a marshmallow. That's not.
Yeah.
That's not ideal.
Is
There
that
he
backwards? Yeah, there we go. I was thinking so my friend Emma and I came up with an idea for a shirt that it's a Guy Fieri marshmallow. So like his hair is the top of it's burnt a little bit. And he has like Guy Fieri hair, but the marshmallow that's Guy Fieri is also roasting marshmallows. So he's kind of a cannibal.
That's a
So
good
it has
idea. That's a great.
yeah.
shirt.
So yeah, me and my friend Emma Massimi might be making some shirts soon. And that might be the first one. So yeah, but my Zion, also a pork chop. Micah, what's
Very much
your
pork
first? What's your first player food comp? Who are you going to go with?
Some good ones that I have here, but I'm going to start with this is my wrestling based one, but it also makes sense. If you are Wake, I know not as much of a wrestling person. Me, obviously,
I'm gonna
humongous
respect it,
wrestling
though.
person.
Clearly,
Jim Ross has a saying that he loves to say about the toughest guys in any manner throughout the last 30 years, and that is that they are tougher than a $2 steak. Great saying. $2 steak. You can imagine eating $2 steak. It should be horrible. It'd be like a rock. So the guy that is as tough as a $2 steak, there's only one man who fits the bill in the NFL, and that is Aaron Donald.
Aaron Donald
is a $2 steak, baby. He is a monster. He is. I could imagine that you touch him and it feels like you're touching like metal or something of the sort. Like he could be Wolverine as anything else. Aaron Donald tougher than a $2 steak. 100%. That was the easiest one. That was actually Tom Brady was the first one I wrote, but that was right after it. Like those were the 2 layups for me.
Wow, that's a good one. That's a pretty good one. I can't lie to you. My next one, it's going to be a Buffalo Bill, and this is the last one I came up with actually, and it's Stefon Diggs. And whether it's been Case Keenum, Kirk Cousins, or Josh Allen, obviously very different things here, but he has found a way to elevate absolutely every quarterback that he's been around. And you can't say that he hasn't had a hand in Josh Allen becoming who he's become. And so I'm going to say that Stefon Diggs is everything bagel seasoning. Whether you want to throw
Damn.
that on a steak, you throw it on potatoes, sure. But it's when on something that's such a seamless fit as like a bagel that's just a classic and reliable, just like Josh Allen. It is a perfect fit. Stefon Diggs is everything bagel seasoning.
Everything bagel seasoning is a game changer. I don't know who
Isn't
somebody
it
put it on
though?
to me within the last year, and it goes on every time I've made scrambled eggs since then. Everything
Yeah.
bagel seasoning has been involved, and I was skeptical at first. I was like, why would I want bagel seasoning on any of this stuff? Nope, I was wrong. I was very wrong. That's a great pick. Great pick. I'll stay Bills themed because
Okay,
I
cool.
gave Josh Allen one, and this is the most simple one for me, honestly. And people might not agree with it, but I think it's pretty easy. Josh Allen's bacon, because who doesn't fuck it? If you eat meat, who doesn't like bacon? And everybody loves Josh Allen. You literally can't go wrong. Shout out Captain also, by the way. Bacon.
No, that's a good one.
Josh Allen's bacon. Everybody loves bacon.
No, that's cause bacon's like dumb thick too.
Bacon, and like you said
Man.
too, you can have some dumb thick bacon, and like you said, bacon makes everything better. Josh Allen makes everything better. If you have a honestly, bacon grilled cheeseburger, it's much better than a cheeseburger. Like cheeseburger.
And we're kind of on the same page here. That if Josh Allen's bacon and Stefon Diggs is everything bagel seasoning, like
could you imagine a bacon, egg, and captain? A bacon, egg, and captain with Josh Allen bacon and everything bagel Stefon Diggs seasoning.
Oh man, honestly that could not have worked out any better. Holy shit. I know we got the same first name, but this chemistry is just fucking perfect. I'm going to keep it rolling. So my next guy is Deebo Samuel. And for me, I think Deebo Samuel is Five Guys Cajun fries. Okay. Because super spicy, brings that extra heat. And no matter how deep you dig into that greasy ass bag, there's always more. And it's absolutely fantastic.
That's a great one. That is great. You. And the Five Guys bag does go deep. It really is different. It's a different level.
I honestly, I have enough fries when I go to Five Guys for probably 3 nights.
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
They take bag fries, like bottom of the bag fries, to a new level. They just they have to take a scoop and just like oops and just miss the bag, and then they're like, okay, now you can have your extra.
It's fries. Like the meals I made for myself when I worked at Elmwood Taco and Subs in Elmwood Village. Like it literally was the same thing. Or how I made other people's food. Like when I worked in food, I wanted to give people a serving I myself would be happy with.
When I worked in food, I made subs at a deli. And yeah, I was very, very lenient with the amount of meat and cheese and everything else. If someone wanted it, I was like, yeah, you can have whatever you want, bro.
It's the golden rule. Treat others how you want to be treated. Yep. Do others how you would have them do unto you.
Yep. But the thing is, nothing's better than food you make for yourself at those places. Like no one.
Oh my God. I used to like chop up chicken with peppers and onions and mozzarella cheese and put it on the grill and then put a tortilla on the grill and
that sounds.
I wanna go work there again right now. I can't.
Sounds lovely. We had chicken finger subs, so that was just dangerous. Just dangerous.
Yeah.
All right. My next one is gonna be Mike Davis, and this is not.
Oh my! I'm so excited for this one.
Mike Davis, he's a meatball. Mike Davis is a meatball. He's a meatball.
Mike.
He looks like a meatball. Don't tell. He's a little bowling ball.
The thing is, you don't have to explain this one. Ball. There's no analogy. Yeah. It's just he literally is.
It's not a bad thing. It's just his body shape. He looks like a meatball. If we're talking food wise,
Mike Colbert was a meatball, and he was.
And it's all meat. That's what I'm saying, bro. Like there's no fat on this dude. He is beefy. Like he is all. I bet you he has like 0.1% body fat or something like that. Like this dude is a tank. But Mike Davis is a meatball.
Wow. No, that's a good one. Man. Okay. My next one is the one I'm most excited about. I can't lie to you. So my next one is for Taysom Hill. And I am saying that Taysom Hill is gnocchi because the first time Sean Payton probably ever had Taysom Hill in his offense, he was like, I'm not really sure what this is. Is it potato? Is it pasta? Is it a quarterback? Is it a tight end? I don't really know, but I love it, and I'm gonna pay way too much money for it. And I feel like they're absolutely synonymous with each other.
That's good.
Thank you.
I like that.
I was excited about that one.
I like that. Taysom Hill. I wasn't expecting to see Taysom Hill on this list, to be honest.
Me either.
So I had one more before Tom Brady.
Sure.
This is the corniest one by far.
No, I'm excited for it though.
This Cam Newton, and he is marinara sauce.
Ooh,
He
no,
is
I
easily
like
the
this.
sauciest player I've ever seen in football. So he gets marinara sauce. Someone had to be the sauce. And I'm like, who would this be? I'm thinking I was thinking Justin Jefferson. Almost picked Justin Jefferson. He was under consideration for this. Almost picked Devontae Adams. But then I'm like, no, there's only one person. I don't care that he's not on a team right now. I don't care that he's been trashed for like 3 years.
Someone's going to dip a pizza log and it's going to be good.
Glorious.
It's going to be damn good.
Cam Newton is the sauce. He always has been, always will be.
I'm really happy you bring this up because I actually have a marinara sauce story. So the one time when I was in Fredonia visiting my friend Wayne, we got Callio's. And if anyone doesn't know what Callio's is.
Shout out Fredonia. Shout out Callio's in Fredonia.
Shout out Fred. Fredtown fucks you up. Fredtown fucks you up. Dude, sing that to Uptown Funk and it's the same. Fredtown fucks you up. Yeah. But so it was like there was a blizzard, and of course we all went out to Sonny's and we got Callio's. And my friend Wayne
was on danger! You literally had the most dangerous night.
I probably had like 7 diseases I don't even know about. To be completely honest with you.
Okay, keep going though.
And so my friend Wayne's on the phone, and I can barely hear him. And he asks me what sauce I want to dip my barbecue chicken calzone in, and I just, for the first time in my life, I do a front flip and it's into a snowbank and I go face first into it. And as my face hits the snow, I just scream out marinara. That's the story. And I definitely had a little bit of like snow burn on my face, but goddamn, Fredtown does fuck you up.
The barbecue chicken from Callio's, great choice.
It's not bad. The one with I used to get mac and cheese in it too, and the barbecue chicken with the mac and cheese.
Can't do the mac and cheese. I'm an anti mac and cheese on pizza or in sandwiches person, and I understand that's a hot take because there's a lot of people I know that love mac and cheese pizza, grilled cheeses, all that stuff, whatever. I've just never. I don't need more noodles, and I don't need noodles inside my bread. That's basically what it comes down to.
I'm going to be honest. We're going to move on before I say something hurtful. We both have Tom Brady for the last one here. And so I go first, I guess. Okay, so I'm going to say I doubt it is. And if he ever – Tom Brady will never acknowledge my existence. But if he were to, it would be over this because I'm going to say that Tom Brady is a McRib. Because even when you think the McRib is dead and it's never coming back – it comes back stronger than ever. And you're low-key excited about it, but also kind of pissed off because you got to buy into it,
That's beautiful. That's well said.
Thank you very much. Said. Yeah.
Tom Brady, I kept it classy with Tom Brady. He is fine red wine. He is the finest of red wine.
Fuck you, buddy.
He has aged gracefully and is still considered a top 5 quarterback. I think
we're both right.
We are both right. No, that's the thing. You said that, and I was like, that is a completely different take than what I'm about to say, but it's not wrong at all. There's nothing wrong with it. Brady, people in 2015 were like, the Patriots are dead. They're done. They started 2-2 in 2016. They're like, oh, is it over? And then they won 2 Super Bowls. Like that. So the McRib's fair, but fine red wine. I mean, the man is still, according to Mike Sando's QB tiers, the third-rated quarterback among executives in the NFL. Third. That's just
third?
Fucking nuts. Fucking nuts. I will have my own rankings coming out soon that won't be controversial at all, I'm sure. And Tom Brady's still in those top 5 or 2 for those. But Mike Sandoz, it's the top 4. It's Rodgers, Mahomes, Brady, Allen. And the fact that one of those dudes is 45 years old. It's fucking nuts. So fine red wine. I don't even like red wine that much, but
I had a work event the other night and I tried Cabernet for the first time, and
it's all right.
Let me tell you, I could I could see myself becoming an alcoholic if I drank nothing but Cabernet for the rest of my life. Like I've always wanted to write a book, and in my bio on Twitter it says someday I'll write that book and I'll audition for Survivor once I learn to swim. And I don't know if I'll ever actually be able to swim. I'll be completely forefront with you. But writing the book is something I can do. And if I'm ever an author, I definitely have to drink more than I do now. So Cabernet may be the gateway.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Writing, you kind of need to have some liquor in your system to have it really cooking. All the best writers,
exactly,
art, rap, musicians, everything. At least something. That's a good point.
When my cousin and I used to write music together, the music that I'm most proud of that I wrote the lyrics for always came when I was under the influence of one thing or another. And I will not say what that one thing or another was, but it definitely happened. Excuse me. I've had one thing or another tonight too, and on the golf course. So maybe I should take a nap, actually. Shout out Labatt, shout out Bud Light Seltzer, and shout out, second time I'll bring up Emma, my friend who I'm going to make t-shirts with, but shout out Dr. Pepper Fireball, best mixed drink on the planet. And
you're drinking Fireball right now? You are a maniac.
Dude, so the one I told this story the other day, and I bring up Emma because it was shockingly enough both of our first alcoholic beverages ever was Dr. Pepper Fireball. I've never met anybody like that. And I worry for this woman. I really do. But I was at a concert at the town ballroom and and someone asked me, what are you drinking? And I said, rum and Coke. And they said, ew. And then I said, oh, I'm sorry, Captain and Coke. And they went, ew. And then I said, oh, I'm sorry, I messed up again. Fireball and Coke. And then they went, oh my God, are you okay? Like the progression was just.
Well, Fireball and Coke that's a psycho thing to do. I'm not going to lie. You are asking for it.
I know I am. I'm not going to deny that. I'm a very self-aware person, but the disconnect I have is doing something with my self-awareness that's actually productive,
Yeah, that's fair. It's putting it into action. Knowing is one thing. Acting is
exactly. But knowledge is power.
I can't. Fireball. See, the problem with Fireball for me is that I'm just not a cinnamon person. And I like cinnamon, like actual cinnamon, but I've never liked Big Red. I've never liked Fireball candy.
How do you feel about cinnamon brooms?
What? What'd you say?
Cinnamon brooms.
What is that?
You don't know what cinnamon brooms are?
Mm-mm.
Do you not like fall? You don't like
I don't know what cinnamon brooms are. No, fall is my favorite. Fall is elite.
Okay, well then you should love cinnamon brooms, God damn it. So there are these things
news to me.
They're these brown, wicker-ish brooms that just smell like cinnamon, and people hang them over their doors.
Oh,
they
no.
My
house is all harvest apple candles in the fall. There's no cinnamon.
They pair perfectly with cinnamon brooms.
I've never heard of these brooms. This is news to me.
Have you ever walked into a Wegmans in the fall and just smelled cinnamon?
Oh, in Fredonia, New York, there's Tops. So that's a problem as well.
Have you ever walked into a Tops? Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
I don't think so.
They're not a poverty grocery store chain. They're not in Aldi. They're not a
If they have, I've never noticed or known what they are or asked about them or anything until this moment. But you're putting me on because I'm a big scent person. I was having a conversation with one of my friends yesterday who just moved into a new apartment here in Chicago and was telling me that some sort of smell is hitting his apartment that he doesn't know what it is. I think we got it down to old lady perfume. Lady perfume. We think he's just it's not all the time, but it's just you take a breath and all of a sudden it hits you again. Ooh. And I told him, I was like, you gotta sit up. Maybe the cinnamon brooms are the answer to this. Maybe that will help. Maybe that's why this conversation is happening. Because I can now relay this information to him and be like,
that's true.
Cinnamon brooms are your answer.
Everything does happen for a reason, and I cannot fault you for being unknowledgeable of something in the past. However, if you do nothing with this information, I will need to find a new co-host.
Oh no, fall is that's my time. This my apartment.
Look at my skin; it's my time too. I have sunburn from being golfing today.
Yeah, I'm not and this is a hot take. Everybody's always like, oh, I don't want to wish summer away, all that stuff. I've always been fine wishing summer, but not when I was in school. That's one thing.
Sure.
When you're in school, sure. But I think even when I got to college, I was kind of like, summer, whatever. Let me get to classes. Let's get everybody back in. And now, I'm an adult. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I want fall to be here. I'm working no matter what. There's no time off for me. We're still going. Mm-hmm. So you know what? I want football on the weekends that I can watch and to walk outside and not we start sweating immediately. I don't think that's too much to ask for, to be honest.
It's literally,
But people be
you're
acting
asking the
crazy.
bare minimum. You're asking the
Yeah.
bare minimum.
We are choosing as adult men and women.
Adult
to
is
live,
very loosely used with me,
yes,
go
but
off.
we must be able to announce that as it is, to live in at our. So if you love summer so much and you hate the fall so much, then why don't you move somewhere where it's always summer? You want to know why? Because it sucks. That's why. Because you would get tired of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Oh
my
my
point
God.
about fall. Everybody hates on fall. I'm like, you know what? Then go move to Miami and go get hurricaned on in September.
And go root
Tell
for
me how
Tua,
much you like
fucking
it.
asshole.
Yeah.
If
And
there's
no
a
shout,
thesis
no,
sta-
and I'm only saying Miami because I was there, and that's
Yeah.
the first hot place I could think of. I love Miami, whatever. But there's a reason I moved to Chicago when I left Buffalo. I didn't move somewhere warm. I wanted my seasons. So y'all are lying to
Exactly.
yourselves. That's my thing.
I think that is a great thesis statement for this podcast. And if I know anything about thesis statements, it's how you start and it's how you end. So this is a great spot to end this show. This has been, I can't lie. I love that conversation with Muki, but the past 25 minutes have probably been the best segment of a podcast I'll ever be a part of. We have to bring back we got to do more NFL player comps. I think that's a recipe for success, whether it's
I could
food,
do
or
Marvel
Super Smash Brothers characters.
Super
Yeah,
Smash
something
Brothers
like that. Yeah,
characters.
we'll figure it out. Yeah, no, we will do this again. I think Meerkat would be a welcome addition to that. Just another nuanced perspective.
Shout out
as I
Meerkat
said.
out in Atlantic City, grinding right now.
Dude's always great. I've never seen that guy take a day off.
Happy
in my
birthday.
entire
Happy
life.
belated birthday.
Happy late birthday, Meerkat. Wow. Incredible stuff. Well, thank you everybody who, if anybody's still here, because I mean, if you listen back, you'll. What's up, Maniac? I mean, like Twitter's malfunctioning, so there might be some more. But thank you everybody for tuning in. It's been a fun episode. Mookie brought the fucking heat, and I think Micah and I did as well. Follow us, of course, on Twitter at CrowdAssistPod. Subscribe to Trainwreck Sports on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, all that shit. We'll be back next week, same time, same place, same. Is there another same? I don't know. But same
Whatever.
sponsor, Outlet Liquor. There we go. The place to buy a case. What's your outlet? For myself, Micah, all of Trainwreck Sports. Good night now.